something we are so far behind on. But I also talk about transparency and the fact that we have one of the least transparent city governments in the country. And that is something we have to change, and something that has been a motivation for me across my career, and something that I want to bring into city government. And one of my experiences in dealing with data is in the state's attorney's office. When I was deputy, we came into an office that was full of good people, but had a mess of a system. And if you wanted to know how many cases a prosecutor had, they literally had to go and open their filing cabinet and count cases. Within months, we put in a data management system so that anyone could know at the tap of a button how many cases everyone had and what was going on with those cases. Thank you very much.
So when I think about vacant homes, I know that in Baltimore, people do not move into neighborhoods where there are more than 4% vacant and abandoned homes. The proximity to and from 4% actually changes the way that we think about the tools in our toolkit. And there are many tools in the toolkit. So the dollar home program, vacant to values, rehab, renovation, tear down. But there's some neighborhoods with 30% vacant homes. The strategy in those neighborhoods is very different than neighborhoods with 6%, for instance. So there's only one neighborhood in Baltimore where there's under 4% and people do not move in. So I say all that to say that the tools in the toolkit are just tools, but this has to be a neighborhood by neighborhood strategy, and we have to work with community associations and neighborhood partners to figure out how we're going to do it to get neighborhoods around the 4%. I also know that the vacant home strategy touches so many other strategies. We can't attract supermarkets into neighborhoods that we can't attract people into. But this is about so many other things. We are going to have the 21st century plan, so there will be renovation coming to every single school in Baltimore City, so there'll be development in neighborhoods that haven't happened before, and we can actually bundle the housing strategy as a part of that as well. We also think about transportation. In Baltimore, if there's more than a 45-minute commute, we know that that has adverse impact on employment for people, or the choices that they make about where they live. We also know that the neighborhoods with the highest unemployment have the longest commutes. The 45-minute thing is interesting because we know that it's two things. One is that it decreases people's reliability and also their happiness. When people's happiness decreases, they move out of the neighborhood, that's bad. And when their reliability decreases, they lose their jobs. So they're retained in neighborhoods but unemployed. So the vacant home strategy is actually just one piece of a much larger conversation about neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you.
Accountability, responsibility, and transparency. This also goes back to my previous point of having a functional Department of Housing and Community Development. Right now, the highest paid city official is Mr. Paul Graziano, who resides at the Department of Public Housing, as well as the Department of Housing and Community Development. And yet we had $6 million disappear from the Department of Housing. We have 14,000 vacant houses and 16,000 vacant city-owned lots that are on the books. You know, and I know, that is much higher than that. So for the city agency to say that we have the inability to track it, or we don't know, or can't figure it out, or can't work with the neighborhood associations that are putting in the legwork to figure it out is totally unacceptable. And it means that we have an agency that is not being accountable for what they're supposed to be making happen. And that has to change. And it starts with the leadership, making sure that we're going to have leadership that is going to hold that standard and hold people to that standard of accountability. I'd also like to go back to touch on the water issue. Understanding that Baltimore City is one of the oldest cities in the country. And right now we have miles and miles of lead pipes that our water is running through every single day. And we solved the crisis in Flint. That can be solved by purifying or changing the water source. We have to replace the infrastructure. We have not begun to take those steps to do such. And as such, I believe that we can use the money that we currently have and reevaluate our tax incremental financing policies to begin to train the citizens here in Baltimore to do that work as well as rehab the vacant houses that exist. Thank you.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the questions I have. If you'll indulge, first off, I want to say I actually feel very positive about Baltimore City and the fact that we have so many fantastic choices. I can't remember an election, and I'm a lifelong city resident, been voting a long time, that we've had so many talented, articulate, creative people step forward and say, I want to lead the city with so many good ideas. So we should all come away from here really with a very positive outlook toward what's going to happen in Baltimore City. What I'd like to do, if we have, what, 11 candidates left? I'd like to give each candidate 75 seconds to give a summary statement. Okay. Hold on, let me set my timer. There we go, I got it.
Yep, that's my cell phone number, but,
We'll just go right down, or we can start at that end, that's fine.
Well,
Say your name.
knows me.
Well, folks, once again, I'm Frank Logan. I'm the independent candidate, so I'm not in the primary, I'm in the general election only. I'm a 24-year veteran of the U.S. Army. I'm currently a procurement officer for the State Highway Administration. The reason I jumped in this election is because when I moved back from Texas to bring my daughters to have a piece of what I grew up in, Baltimore City Public Schools, it wasn't happening. And so for them to be 2 years ahead of their peers was unacceptable to me. And then the riots took place, and then there was a lack of leadership. I also have a background in emergency management. So when the riots took place, nothing was happening as according to the emergency management plan. So therefore, with the skill set that I have, I believe that I was the best candidate to run for the office. And so I look for 4 things: to improve your education system by bringing the school system back to the communities and having you identify your curriculum, and then putting the executive school board from the communities with my appointees of a special ed, educator, and mental health on the board. That way the communities and the appointees create the systems to get our kids the best education possible. There are some facilities that need to be remodified and fixed. I appreciate you having me this evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
David Warnock, Mayor. I'm the guy that came into Baltimore 33 years ago in that pickup truck. And I've been grateful for this city, for every opportunity that it's given me. This is a clear choice. For 33 years, I've been in this city, rolling up my sleeves, engaging with people on the ground, creating opportunities and jobs. The organizations that I've been involved with have either employed or trained literally thousands of people. We all talk tonight about city government being unresponsive, and I'm in this race because I fundamentally believe that city government has been unresponsive and has lost touch with the people that they are paid to serve. But because I've created a great community school, I believe that we can create great academic outcomes in kids that are ready for the jobs of tomorrow. Because I've been the chairman of a great community workforce development organization, the Center for Urban Families, I believe that we can train our returning citizens and give them the opportunities that they deserve. And because I've created businesses that employ hundreds of people in Baltimore City, I believe in small business, and I understand how hard it is today to create and build and scale a small business in Baltimore. I want to work with you to write the greatest turnaround story in America in the city that we all love. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I'm Dre McKesson. I'm running to be mayor because I believe in the promise and possibility of the city. When I think about what I'm offering, it's 3 things. One is a platform that is about scale. So when we think about our problems in the city, they are problems at scale, but we have not seen the solutions at scale. We think about 70,000 people addicted to drugs. We think about 40% of our adults who cannot functionally read. We think about 25% of our pre-K students who are chronically absent every day. That we need scale solutions for these things. The second thing is about the concrete things that we can do to make people's lives better today and tomorrow. The platform that I've offered is about the concrete things. It's not just about crime, safety, and education, areas that I know really well, but also about the other areas I know well, about public health, the environment. I'm the only candidate with the platform about arts and culture, but it has to be about concrete things. What we find at forums like this is that people just repeat the problem instead of offering a solution. And I'm here to offer solutions. And the third thing is that this is a clear choice between politics as usual or the politics of change. If the familiar is what we choose and the establishment is who we choose, we know exactly what we're going to get. It's what we have right now. And we know that that has not led us to the transformational change that our lives and our communities deserve. So you have a choice to elect a new leader, somebody who is here to usher in a new era of accountability, injustice, and integrity in this city, and I'm that person. Thank you.
So I begin by saying that I believe that the single greatest issue in Baltimore City politics is distribution of capital and the lack thereof. For administration after administration, the only place that's seen any real investments in downtown and in the harbor, while the rest of our neighborhoods have been left to fend for themselves and scrape and fight for every dollar they could to sustain themselves. My administration will focus on creating healthy, sustainable, and economically viable neighborhoods. My name is Joshua Harris, and I believe that there's an urgency right now in Baltimore City. An urgency for leadership that's going to be accountable, responsible, and transparent. An urgency for leadership that is going to be accountable to people over profit and corporation. And I run it as a Green Party candidate because I also believe that we need leadership that is unapologetically willing to go against the grain and stand for what's right and stand for people, no matter what the status quo and the norm is. And so I'm asking you to consider me on November 8th, 2016, as your next mayor, because I am committed to putting people first. And that's something that we have not seen here in Baltimore City for quite some time. Thank you. And I look forward to working with the city to make the city better, no matter what happens.
And I grew up in Baltimore City. I love this city very much. It's a city where I went to public school, where I spent my career in public service, and it's a city where I want to spend the rest of my life. I'm running for mayor to end the violence in our streets, to strengthen our schools, to expand our economy, and to bring in accountability in the city government that we have never seen before. And it is time now in Baltimore to move forward, not backward, and to have a mayor who will do the hard work, who is a problem solver, who understands the complexities of city government, but also understands how to bring the best innovations from across the country into Baltimore. We cannot have a leader now who is distracted and weighed down by criminal investigations, scandals, conflicts of interest, business dealings that make them open to litigation. We have to have a mayor who on day one can start solving the urgent city problems and working with communities to make a difference in the city. So I love this city. I'm excited by this election. Every election matters, but this election, more than any other in our lifetime, gives us the opportunity for real change. And the status quo is not okay. It's not good enough. We can do better. We have to look forward. This has to be an election about moving Baltimore forward and making Baltimore the great city that it can be, that it should be, but it cannot do that if it does not have city government that is effective and accountable. Elizabeth Embry, thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for your time. You know, this forum is very special for me because this is my neighborhood, and this is where I was born. Well, not born, but this is where I grew up. You know, my parents live here. You know, we've been here for a very long time. It was the foundation of Hamilton, that in Hamilton Elementary Middle, that taught me to be who I am, to become an engineer, to eventually go to even greater heights, to work at the White House, and to go to Harvard Business School. And it's that very same foundation that we need in City Hall today. You know, when we talk about neighborhoods in our city, we've built a great neighborhood right here in Hamilton. And who better to be the person to lead our city, especially with the challenges that we have, than somebody from right here who was born and bred of the neighbors that are right here in this city, that are right here in this neighborhood of Hamilton. So, if you don't know who I am, if you're meeting me for the first time, there are tons of folks that you can reach out to. You can reach out to Ruth, or you can reach out to Gavin, or you can reach out to Regina over at the Hamilton-Lauraville Business Community. These people know me. Or you can just knock on my mother's door, 3206 West 32 blocks away. I wanted the mayor because our city can move forward. And we can move forward with the types of things that we've done here in Hamilton. I'm looking forward to being the next mayor if you elect me. Thank you very much. Please make sure you get one of these before you leave.
I started a nonprofit, Citizens Oversight Maryland, 10 years ago because there was absolutely no discussion of public policy in the city of Baltimore. And over 10 years, I have been in communities all over the city, talking about public policy. I am followed by thousands of people across the city. They like me, they support me, they love my policy stances. So don't think that I don't have popular support because you don't see me in the media or in major venues, because my platform is taking Baltimore development out of the city agencies, and the media and the major venues only allow candidates who are an establishment and who will continue their master plan. I am well supported. Please go to my campaign website. You're going to see a platform of issues that I know you're going to like. There's a section on questionnaires where I respond to every community organization's questions on every policy issue. Go to my Facebook page, Cindy Walsh /Baltimore, where I discuss public policy every day on every issue. I can win this election. I think I am going to win this election. I want to say, Cindy Walsh, the mayor of Baltimore.
Thank you. CarlStokes2016.com. I thank you so much for being such a strong community, a strong neighborhood, for being great, strong citizens. I left city government 20 years ago to go back into small business. And while away, not only did I do the business, but my passion is education. And so I opened 2 schools for boys, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. And we worked those schools so that we gave them mental health services, social services. We made sure they had art, and they had music, and robotics, and drama. And you know, we took all boys. Didn't matter where they were academically, socially, even behaviorally. We graduated our first 8th grade in 2010. And over 90% of those young men are now sophomores in college. It is my intent to make our public schools work for our children. 89% of our current 4th graders, 89% are operating below proficiency in reading and math. This city is so not working for you out in the community. Listen, I'm the guy who stood in the gap, besides the audits, who said we ought not be giving $107 million to a billionaire to build his own playground when our communities are suffering with not enough trees and broken up streets and not enough cops. I'm the guy who stood in the gap. I'm out of time? I'm out of time.
I don't know if I can come behind that. Well, thank you for having all of us. My name is Laverne Murray. I'm a wife, mother, pastor, author, and I work for the state of Maryland. I oversee the entire state of Maryland for the construction for real estate. So if I can handle the state, I can handle the city. My platform is plain and simple. It's a citywide people dealing with citywide issues. It's going to take everybody to deal with our city. It's going to take everyone in the entire city. And my platform is, the fact of the matter is, we're going to put the citizens of Baltimore back in team leadership, back in the government seat. So it's going to take every citizen of Baltimore. It's going to take the poor people. It's going to take the rich people. It's going to take the middle class people. It's going to take everybody to be a part of the team in order to make the mayor successful. So the mayor cannot resolve all of the issues in any city. Our city is plagued with so many challenges, so many issues, but it's going to take team leadership. It's going to take unity. It's going to take people who are willing to walk with the mayor and the officials to resolve our issues. I know we can do it. We can do it with team leadership, and it's going to take you and me.
So in 2004, I was at a corner bar on a football Sunday, and in walks this young woman, and she has a long white sleeve t-shirt, green sweats, and her hair was in a ponytail, no makeup. She was there to watch football. And I said to my brother, I said, I gotta go say hi to her. So I did, and we'll be celebrating 10 years of marriage this August. I love this city so much. It has given me everything. It has given me a sense of purpose. It has given me a beautiful family. And it has given me a desire to want to give back in the way that I know how. My name is Patrick Gutierrez. And on 4 separate occasions, all across the country, I went into some of the worst performing operations you can imagine, similar to what we see here in Baltimore. And I got every one of them turned around by focusing on the things that we know need to be done. The transparency, the accountability, the communication. I feel like a chef staring at a restaurant with a fully stocked pantry. And I am just dying to get in there and fix you all a world-class meal that you deserve.
But I'm not just calling myself a chef. I'm actually trained. I've been in this position my whole life, and I want the opportunity to do that for you. Please get a handout on your way out the door, a betterbaltimore.org. Patrick Gutierrez, thank you so much for having me.
People can know what's the chairs.